So now we'll move to the Citect, and I will show you exactly my workflow, and then you decide if it is having any added value, or you can use part of these ideas in your workflow. Simply, I will run Citect, and as you see here, I'm using the Citect 2018. Okay, so I have created report example project just to avoid wasting time, and we'll go directly to the visualization, then report. Simply, I will start creating a report 001, and the cluster name, only one cluster we have, it's cluster 1. The time and the period, it is if you want to create cyclic execution for the report itself, we will do this one, but not from the report itself. We'll create event at the end of the video for the cyclic execution. So the trigger, again, you can connect this report with the variables, and we trigger this variable to trigger the report. But again, it is not my workflow. So I will show you my workflow, and then you decide what suits your requirement. So the report format and the output device. So we'll start with the report format. Simply, if you make edit report format, it will give you an empty RTF file. So you can start typing and modifying your format, or you can just put the directory where you have the report templates. For example, I have created one here. So I have created my report, the RTF report template. Let's open this template, and as you see, I open it here with WordPad because it's just doing some sort of compression, but it is very hard to make the formatting here. So what I'm doing is that I'm just like opening this RTF file through Word, Microsoft Word. So open with Microsoft Word. So as you see here, so I can modify the tables, do whatever formatting I like. And then when I save it, the problem is that you see it's a 33 kilobyte. And once I save it with Word, and let me close it first, and you see here, it's become 137 kilobytes, which is not acceptable by Citect. So it will stop the execution of the report, and you will find a message that the file size exceeding the maximum things. And so what we'll do again, after we finish formatting, we'll open the file with WordPad, and as you see here, we open it with WordPad. And whenever we save it, it is again making sort of compression, and the file size will be decreased. I just want to add some more things, like we can here add the pictures, just like our channel picture. So just simple things. So, and then we'll click save, refresh, as you see, 88 kilobyte. So back again, open and close, everything is fine. So I will just want to take this directory and the path for this file, and we'll type it here. And as you see here, report template 001.rtf file. And to make sure the path is correct, we'll just edit. Now we have our file here, so everything is fine. So I will just save this one. Now we are looking for the output device. The configuration of the output device is coming from the setup and devices. And here I will simply start creating a device. Just I will just make it RTF device. Just to understand, once we selected there, that it is a device and created in the devices section. So RTF is the file format. The header and format is used in mostly used in alarm printing once we have a session about the dot matrix and the configuration there. But really, we don't need it here. So the file name is the output location where we save the report. So I will use this reports location, and let us name it. I will call it what? I will call it blunt report .rtf. So I just call it blunt report RTF. The type here will have ASCII device once we need to generate the report in text format. So we have other types of reports. We can, in Citect, the new version, we can generate HTML report, and we can print it directly to the printer, and we can again send it to SQL database. Maybe in later videos, we'll go through these kind of different methodologies, but this one is my workflow. So we'll stick with this path and then we'll discuss other routing. So I will select ASCII, number of files. I'll just make it -1. The number of files is simply how the execution of the report. If you mention like, if you want to execute in several files, so every report will come in a separate files, then you have to mention the number here. -1, it will use the same file, but in which case we are not considering the number of files, because you will see in our workflow we'll be deleting the RTF files. So time and period, it is actually the, again, if you want to make the cycle execution, the cluster name, we have only cluster 1. The process is report server, and this is simply our device. We'll go back to the report. Now we have the RTF device listed here. So I would select the RTF device. So now simply we have a report and a device which is will output the report to RTF file. Just to give you more understanding about the format of the report, whenever you use this curly brackets, that means there is a variable coming from Citect. So this is the variable, and I'm using this format and engineering unit. So I have created 4 variables actually, and these other variables are not exist in the Citect. We'll see how it looks in the runtime. For my workflow, I like to put the design settings. So it's just like a medical report. So you see the numbers and you see the design settings. So at least you have a better understanding if the report is matching the design or the process requirement or not. I will close and back again. Now we launch the Citect graphics builder, and we'll go to the startup page. I have simply created some buttons, so we just want to save time rather than wasting time for things outside the report. I will go with 4 steps. So the first one is generate the report, then the PDF print, and then delete the report, and then the complete function. These 4 variables, I have created them, so we'll not waste time for this. Sorry, here is the variables. So simple internal variables, so we can use them if we want to change the values. So, and by the way, I think you came to this video, about Citect tags. So these tags here, these fields, I just configured as input output. So here in the display value, I put variable 1. And in the input, I use the key sequence and enter. So whenever we type things and then press enter, it will execute this code, which is simply the arguments 1, or it will take whatever we type in the runtime and move it or pass this value to the variable 1. The same we have done for everything, and I'm always using the format with EU, it means the engineering unit will be listed here. So first thing, I want to generate the report. If you remember, I said we can generate the report through triggering variables. If we list the variable there and we can trigger it here, make the variable equal 1. But for my workflow, as I will stick with my workflow and rather than going back and forward everywhere. So I will just insert here function and report. And here we have to mention the report name, which is report 001. So report 001. And the cluster is simply 1. So something happened here. Okay, so this is the first step. We have the report 1. So simply this one will execute our report. So here is save, and so no user defined. So we'll go to the security, we'll define. So as you see here, there is no user. So we'll define the role and the users for this rule. So I'll start with administrator, and then we'll define the users. Save. So we'll define only admin as a user, and it will be, the role will be administrator. So save. And let us run this one. So I will take this one here. Let's have our folder here so we can see the generation of the report. We go here. This is our reports, the location we designed for the generation, and then simply we click generate report. As you see, we generated the report. Let us open and see. And here, as you see, we have the first 4 variables we define, and the other variables, as you see, there is no communication. So it is matching these variables. You can see if we want to change here, like 70.5 variable 100, say 20, and then simply we generate the report. So I will delete this one and generate the report, and then let's find out that we have the updated variables. So up to this point, we generate the variables properly.